Good morning and happy Friday. It's Jen with Polk County Public Libraries back with another book talk. So today I'm going to tell you about some psychological thrillers that I have read and really enjoyed. And if you've watched some of my videos before, or if you read my column that is published twice a month in the Tryon Daily Bulletin, you might already know that this is my favorite genre. So here are some I'm going to suggest to you. The first one is called Before She Knew Him by Peter Swanson. So in this one, Hen and her husband Lloyd have settled into a quiet life in a suburban house outside of Boston. Hen is an illustrator and has set up shop in a nearby studio where she can forget the world and focus on her craft. After a few exhausting years of trial and error, she has found the right meds to control her bipolar disorder. Finally, she's found some stability and peace to do what she loves, create. But when they meet the couple next door, that calm begins to erode when she spots a familiar object in the husband's office. It looks exactly like something connected to a killing that happened years ago, one of the very few pieces of evidence in a disturbing and baffling case. Hen recognizes it instantly because she's long had a fascination with the unsolved murder, an obsession she doesn't talk about anymore, but can't fully shake either. Could her neighbor Matthew be a killer? Or is this the beginning of another psychotic episode like the one she suffered in college? So I liked this one. I thought this was a little different because you have a lot more information in the beginning. It doesn't leave you guessing in that way, but it is still very suspenseful. And Peter Swanson is one of my favorite authors. I would also recommend The Kind Worth Killing by him, which I have talked about in a book talk video before. Next up, we have Karin Slaughter's book called Pretty Girls. This is one of the more disturbing books, so just take that disclaimer as you will. If that's not something you like to read, I like to read disturbing books, so I really liked this one. So in this one, it's been more than 20 years since Claire and Lydia last spoke. Claire is the glamorous trophy wife of an Atlanta millionaire. Lydia, a single mother dating an ex-con, struggling to make ends meet. But neither has recovered from the disappearance of their sister Julia 2 decades earlier, and the shocking murder of Claire's husband brings the horror and heartbreak of the past roaring back into their lives. Now, Karin Slaughter has written a lot of books. She has a series, and I prefer standalones myself, so I really like Pretty Girls. And I also really liked The Good Daughter by her. All right, The Breakdown by B.A. Paris. Cass is having a hard time since the night she passed the car in the woods. It was on the winding rural road in the middle of a downpour, and a woman was sitting inside. The woman who would be found dead. She's been trying to put the crime out of her mind. What could she have done, really? It's a dangerous road to be on in the middle of a storm, and Cass probably would have hurt herself if she'd stopped. Not only that, her husband would be furious if he knew she'd broken her promise not to take the shortcut home. But since then, she's been forgetting every little thing. Where she left the car, if she took her pills, even the alarm code. The only thing she can't forget is that woman, the woman she might have saved, and the terrible nagging guilt. So this is one of those unreliable narrator ones, if you like that kind of plot line. And B.A. Paris is another author whose books I really enjoy. I also really liked Behind Closed Doors by her, which is another kind of disturbing one. All right, One by One by Ruth Ware. This is one of our new books. It came out in 2020. This is a great winter snow setting. This is kind of like a trapped room mystery where you have to figure out who done it. Getting snowed in at a luxurious rustic ski chalet high in the French Alps doesn't sound like the worst problem in the world, especially when there's a breathtaking vista, a full-service chef and housekeeper, a cozy fire to keep you warm, and others to keep you company. Unless that company happens to be 8 co-workers, each with something to gain, something to lose, and something to hide. So like I said, this is a mystery. Some things start to happen. They have to figure out which one of them in the group is the bad guy. And if you like Ruth Ware, I would also recommend The Turn of the Key and In a Dark, Dark Wood. And then our final book, another new one that came out last year, is called Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. And this is kind of like a haunted house book. So if you liked the TV series, The Haunting of Hill House, you might like this one. Maggie Holt doesn't believe in these things, even though they are the details of the story that made her family famous. 25 years ago, she and her parents moved into Bainbury Hall, a rambling Victorian estate in the Vermont woods. They spent 20 days there before fleeing in the dead of night, an ordeal later recounted in a horror memoir, House of Horrors. Her dad's tale of ghostly happenings and encounters with malevolent spirits became a worldwide phenomenon, rivaling the Amityville Horror in popularity and skepticism. Maggie has lived her life in the shadow of her father's book, so when she inherits Bainbury Hall after his death, she returns to renovate the house to prepare it for sale. However, her homecoming is anything but warm. People from the past lurk in the shadows, and locals aren't thrilled that their small town has been made infamous thanks to Maggie's father. Even more unnerving is Bainbury Hall itself, a place filled with relics from another era that hint at a history of dark deeds. As Maggie experiences strange occurrences straight out of the book, she starts to wonder if what he wrote was more fact than fiction. So, Home Before Dark for kind of a fun haunted house thriller. One by One, Snowed In at the Ski Chalet Whodunit. The Breakdown is the unreliable narrator plot line. Pretty Girls is the one I described as disturbing, if that is up your alley. And then Before She Knew Him, it's kind of a different take on the genre with a lot more of the information up front in the book. And just a really good read. So if you like psychological thrillers, I highly recommend that you check one of these out.